Hello everybody, my name is Linkzzey and welcome to my 49,000 day hardcore Minecraft world. And I am approaching 50,000 days very fast. But the real question is, will I be able to finish this build before I hit 50,000 days in hardcore? This is the Titan of Time. In the last episode, we got the front facade done. We got the interior fully enclosed. And today, we're going to be working on the rest of the exterior. And monotone gray is a very difficult build palette for me to work with, so hopefully I'm doing a really good job. I do plan on adding a lot of mossy variants to this whole Temple of Time to give it more of that old patina feel. I added in a little bit of a foundation underneath, which obviously needs a lot of work. I know it's very, very flat, but don't worry. Kind of ignore that. I just wanted to see if the colors would really match at the end of the day. I do need to build in some layers and potentially build up the terrain a little bit, but I wanted to make it look like it was going into the mountain, if you will. Right on over here, I have a proper foundation for exactly what I want to be building today, and that is the rest of the front facade of this entire temple, and I think it looks fantastic. It was a little bit difficult to work in some of the details, especially with these dormers up above. And then I kind of created these little archways underneath, the little hourglasses, and I try to work in as much detail as I possibly can. So we're going to get around to that today. But quickly, I want to explain to you guys exactly why I chose to go with the palette that I chose to go with. I want this to be something that's going to be in the backdrop of the entire medieval kingdom that I'm going to be building out here eventually. So imagine this beautiful villager house right here, and you notice how the back doesn't really take too much. I just want it to be kind of something that sits very beautifully up on that mountainside over there, and I think it won't clash very much if we build an entire kingdom out here. And I've been getting asked this quite a bit, but there is going to be a absolute metric ton of terraforming happening in this entire area. I'm going to be reshaping the rivers, going to be reshaping the mountains. I'm going to be building bridges, wheat fields, windmills, water wheels, everything along the way. Then of course, once the Temple of Time is fully completed, I'm going to be building a Statues of Time garden right on over here. And then we're going to be extending a bridge that's going to go from one mountain all the way to the next mountain over there. And we're going to build another mega build. I've been buying all kinds of statues from the Wandering Trader as well, which is a custom data pack I have created for me. But without further ado, let's get the rest of this front facade fully done up. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that took a very long time to do, but both walls are finally done. The front facade's done. Been messing around with a little bit of the foundation, and I'm slowly working my way up the whole castle. Holy cow, it's quite a bit to do. There's a lot of detail work to be done. We don't even talk about the backside, we don't talk about the side, and I don't think we're gonna be finished this build before 50,000 days. But I've been reading the comments, and a lot of you guys have been suggesting I add a clock to this whole build, and I don't really think I'm gonna do that actually. I think maybe later on down the road for the whole medieval kingdom, maybe we'll add ourselves a clock tower somewhere in here, or maybe I'll incorporate the clock tower into the bridge. My vision for this bridge is I want to have a giant central post. Of course it starts raining right now. Love that. I want to have a giant central post right here with a giant clock. Maybe I'll have clocks on all four sides, and maybe we'll make it almost like the Passage of Time, or we'll come up with some cool bridge name or something. But that's still a ways away. We still need to work on the top portion of the temple. In the meantime, I think it's about time we start getting these clerics into the hole and we start breeding up our 100 clerics. But I've got a very interesting game mechanic that you probably don't know about that I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in the video when it comes to villagers. The Temple of Time will house over 100 clerics, which will be our main source of redstone dust, lapis, glowstone, and experience potions, which are very handy for repairing your elytra on the go. I think it takes about 12 bottles of experience to fully repair your elytra. And with all that redstone dust, we'll finally be able to expand the factory and build ourselves an insane tree farm that will live within the dragon volcano. The only downside is, well, I don't TNT dupe, and the tree farm is going to eat up a lot of that. Looks like the concrete farm is doing pretty good though. But once built, we'll be unlocking mangrove logs moving forward, being able to build bigger projects in less time. And finally, there's lapis, unlocking a deep blue block we can incorporate into our palette. This roof in particular is primarily built out of lapis, but I also incorporated a little bit of wool just for a little bit of shadowing. But I remember this project taking a very long time and thousands of lapis blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and build myself a simple villager breeder. And then I'm going to be crafting up 100 brewing stands, all while I work on the top of the temple. This has got to be one of my favorite views in my hardcore world. As you guys can see, I've been working on the side of the temple, but I also added in a cool looking moon in the middle too. And when it comes to the side of the temple, I think that this looks absolutely fantastic. I'm standing on what's going to be the bridge that's going to be bridging this mountain over to this mountain. But looking at the side here, I think everything just goes cohesively so well with one another, sticking with that monotone gray palette, but also incorporating the glass the whole way up with the cyan, the green, and the light blue. And I think it's a great combination. Next up, we just have to finalize these rooftops right over here so they match all the other rooftops, and then we'll be on to the other side. I've also been messing around a little bit with the foundation, and I think I'm gonna actually get rid of all that deep slate in behind there. Yeah, I wasted about a shulker box of deep slate, but what are you gonna do? I'm over here freehanding. In addition, I did all of the windows going all the way across with that moon in the center point. And then the inside, I set up a villager breeder that I think I'm probably gonna have to turn off here pretty damn soon, because looking at all these villagers in here, I want 100 clerics, and I say there's probably about 40-ish villagers in here, which luckily for me, it's extremely easy to do. All I gotta do is close these trap doors on that side and over here on this side, and the villager breeder is now officially off. Not to mention the view flying up out of the hole and into the temple is absolutely gorgeous. Looking at that galaxy, chef's kiss. Now I only have 130 more days left in order to finish this build, in which I'm extremely doubtful, but who knows. I still have to do this side, which I'll tackle tomorrow. I gotta do these roofs, which won't take very long, and then we gotta do the back side. So I've been struggling with this side of the building for quite some time now, and I think I've come up with a really cool build that I could do underneath the castle. I've been wondering exactly what to do over here. So I thought about potentially building the foundation down. I thought about bringing the mountain around, but I didn't want to get rid of this river right here because I really like the way that it flows through this entire area. So I've come up with the idea of basically building an Atlas statue right here. Kind of, instead of supporting the earth, it will be supporting this side of the castle. So I'm gonna have like arms coming up here, arms coming up here, and then I'll have the head right here, and then Atlas kind of like kneeling while holding up the entire structure. I think that'd be a really cool and dynamic way of bringing the castle or palace or temple or whatever this thing is to life. And so far, as for the backside, everything is slowly coming together. This middle bit definitely needs a little bit of love, but I'm kind of running really incredibly low on resources. I'm officially out of black dye, so I'm not able to continue on with the roof style. This, I don't even want to look at this. Trust me, I have the same eyes you do. This is super ugly, but this I'm really liking. And then I did the complete revamp of the foundation coming all the way up. Decided to scrap the deep slate, which I'm extremely happy about. Did not like the deep slate. I felt like it kind of gave off a really harsh line, and I'm proud to say the foundation is looking much better. And as it stands, I have about 58 days before I hit 50,000 days, which I'm really hoping to be able to finalize this entire build and potentially even start up the bridge over to the other mountain so I could build up another build. If only I could stay ahead on tough. But of course, if you guys want to see me freehand each and every single one of these builds, well, you know exactly where to find me. Live on my YouTube, live over on Twitch. And I guess this would be a perfect time to tell you guys that if you haven't done so already, please consider leaving a like. Consider subscribing if you guys want to see some more builds like this, because I do put a lot of effort into these builds. I actually just calculated it, and it's about 450 hours into the temple so far. Wow. Now, of course, this video is going to be out before my 50,000 day videos, so I wanted to show you guys something that I've been working on behind the scenes, and that is the world map. So those of you guys who've been hanging out in the lives have obviously seen the world map, or for those of you guys who've been watching some of the shorts, you've been seeing the development of the world map. So let me show you guys this real quick. This is my base, the Masa. This is the seed vault. Technically, right now, we are building in this area for the Temple of Time. And then you can see all of the other builds I have throughout my world. We have the Dark Castle with the Elder Dragon in front. We have the Dragon Volcano with Dandelion and all of the other dragons wrapped around the castle. This is where I keep all my villagers, the Dragon Cavern. I've got all the Viking ships kind of hanging out around here as well. This is Slimeville, the factory for the concrete. We have the observatory, which is the iron farm, and the airship in front. We have the Guardian Farm just down here, Snow Island, Pixel Palace, which is getting a complete revamp in the next episode. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for that. And Frog Island, which will also be getting a complete revamp as well. The Dwarven Keep is getting an additional build for the next episode. Same thing goes with the Pirate Island. But it's really, really cool being able to see my entire world in a map format, kind of like a Disneyland kind of vibe. So we got the Spider and Bee Castle over there. We've got the Coral Reef build right on over here. And then there's a little bit of the Nether just down here. We got the Nether Hub, Ark Labs, the Wither Skeleton Farm, the Gold Farm, the Nether Cathedral, which is our Nether Wart Farm. And we have the Lantern area just down there. Right on over here, we have got the Ocean Monument, the Colosseum, the Witch Farm, the Ice Cathedral. You guys obviously get the message. This is super cool. So if you guys want to see some merch coming up for the world map in the future, you guys are going to want to stay tuned. And trust me, that is not all the announcements that's coming up for 50,000 days. I got something even bigger. And that exciting news is that I'm creating my own Better Minecraft SMP for all of you guys to enjoy, where you can do really cool things like this that apparently I had no idea you could do. And of course, there's different dimensions, the Nether portal, the ether that we're all very familiar with. And if you're not, stick around and find out. And then there's some really cool houses that people have made throughout the server. And I'd say it's pretty active too. This bridge has proven to be a massive pain in my neck because, oh my God, I've been laying out this bridge for such a long time, but I think I've got something I'm really happy with. I've started incorporating little bits and pieces of glass just for the little bit of shadowing on the clock, but not just there. I've been introducing it over to the pillars right on over here. I'm going to have fire built out of glass right here. And this bridge is a little bit symbolic of some stuff. So let me explain to you guys exactly what it's symbolic of and the whole idea behind this bridge. So with wisdom, wait, I got that backwards. With time comes wisdom. So this is the Titan of Time. That would be the god of wisdom. This will be the passage of time going all the way across the gorge, or whatever you want to call this. And on the top, I've got water coming all the way down the middle. That's going to come into a big giant tree right here. And it's going to be the knowledge tree. I will then kind of merge this all in here just a little bit better. I'm planning to maybe build the tree kind of out of tuff alongside with acacia. And then right on over here, when we work our way over to the god of wisdom, we're going to have a nice, beautiful little courtyard right here. And I might potentially build a fountain as well. But all in all, this whole bridge is really coming together beautifully. I've done my best just to kind of introduce a little bit of the shading and shadowing. Right on over here, I will have to get rid of all of the grass in the area. We're going to build a nice little staircase, and we're going to connect it up to the Titan of Time. And yes, before you ask, the backside is done. Over there, not so much. So far, I'm really seeing the vision here, and I think it's looking fantastic. I can't wait to fill out the underside of the bridge because I think that's really going to bring in a lot of the depth and, of course, the thickness to the bridge. That's kind of what it's missing right now, because right now it is like 2 blocks thick going all the way across there, and that's just not quite going to cut it. So I'm going to be taking this pillar right here, and I'm going to build that right on over here, and we're going to start working a little bit in the center area. We're going to bring this thing all the way up, and we're going to work on these archways underneath as well. I have farmed almost 150,000 tuff as of now, and I've placed over 100,000 of it. And I'm willing to bet that quite a bit of it went into this project right here, and the bridge, of course. You guys can see I have started introducing a little bit of the shading using glass panes just to kind of bring out some of those edges, but I've also started working on the underside here a little bit, and I'm coming to the realization that I don't have enough resources, but that's been kind of like the ongoing thing for the entire day. So what I'm going to focus on primarily is this middle pillar right here, bringing this thing all the way up, and then we'll bring up the other pillar, and then we'll work in the center region, bulkifying all that. Yeah, real word, bulkifying. And then we're going to start working on this archway right here. And let me see if I can at least show you guys exactly kind of what I mean. So I have this ledge right here. I'm going to be building the same ledge over here. And this archway is going to kind of like cup right on over here. So I have to build up the other side in order to fully do that. I've also started incorporating some walls and a little bit of the stairs across the way there. And I've done these braziers, which I like the way that they turned out. Not fully detailed, so I'm going to work on that a little bit more. And you know what I wish we could have in Minecraft? So hear me out. Look at how beautiful this looks. Once I place down all these fallen leaves on this stripped spruce log, look at how decorative and how cool of a pattern that is. I wish we were able to make pillars that were vertical rather than laying down with this sort of pattern on there. That would be nice. But Minecraft Live is this Saturday, so hopefully we'll have some fun and exciting things to be announced. Till then, I'm going to be farming as much tuff as I can get my hands on. One thing I didn't know, because I started my world back in 1.15, was back in the day, tuff patches used to be a lot bigger than they are now. So that's really helping me out. After an absolute brainbuster of a day yesterday on stream, I have probably built the best bridge that I have ever built in my entire life in Minecraft. And it's crazy to think that it's all just one color, yet there's so many shapes going on right now. Whoa. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I think I've really outdone myself with this bridge. It took a lot of work, and it's literally just stone. That's it. All I've used here is just stone, and honestly, I don't know if this is a mistake, but I don't think I'm going to be adding any additional blocks besides the stone, because I think it would just be a colossal waste of my time and resources. And we already know how much I'm struggling with the tuff right now. So I think I'm just going to leave it as is. From afar, it almost looks like it's an hourglass. Let me show you guys here. So looking at it, you can kind of see like just a slight little X right there. And I think that kind of resembles an hourglass in a way. Above here, I've kind of marked out where I want to have the tree of knowledge and how I would like to have that. And I've also incorporated a bunch of slabs, stairs, and buttons along the side right here. I think it gives it like a really nice look and kind of breaks up the flatness of the bridge. So if we look at it from over here, we can kind of see that it kind of like almost frames the bridge a little bit. I'm working on the braziers. I want to do some like really cool glass work and stuff. I'm a little struggling with that right now. Don't know exactly how I want to build the flames. I'm kind of on the fence right now, being like, maybe I don't want a flame up here. But I think that's just me baby raging and not wanting to actually get the glass work done. I'll figure it out. But right now, instead of pulling out whatever remaining hair that I have out during that brazier, I think I'm going to work on this tree right here. So Not 100% sure how I want to go about it. Don't know how tall I would like it, but I feel like this is a pretty good, I think that's a pretty good height. I want to kind of branch it out like this. I want to make it very airy. I'm not very good at doing trees, so here it goes. Let's hope that this goes well. And if I do incorporate some fire here, I'm going to have some wind, and I think some wind blowing in from over here through the valley and cutting across the bridge, I think would be the best. So we can have like maybe our flames going like this, and we can have maybe some smoke going off into the side, but not crazy. I don't want it to be incredibly windy over here. I just want a little bit of a breeze. I have truly outdone myself when it comes to this tree. I'm not very good at doing these sort of trees, but I really love the silhouette and the way that it all turned out. I've got a couple additional things I want to show you guys real quick. So I've kind of taken a little bit of inspiration from the more talented builders than myself when it comes to the wispy leaves blowing off of the tree. And I've also incorporated a couple birds along the way. I've also begun to link the bridge up to the Temple of Time over here. And I've tried laying out a little bit of the statues that I'm going to have going all the way down the bridge. And the tree from this angle, I think looks very good. It's really difficult to make trees look good from multiple different perspectives. So I've tried my best to make it look good from all perspectives. And then over here, I have a little bit of an Easter egg of an owl hanging out with all of his friends. If you guys recognize any of these people right here, let me know in the comments down below. I would be surprised if you didn't know who this group of people were, but having a nice little Easter egg is such a special thing. Added in a lot of the fallen leaves along here as well. I would like to incorporate a little bit more as well. And then working our way all the way down the bridge, I'm going to be working on the God of Wisdom at the very end. I will say I am a lot more happy that I decided to go with the tree rather than the giant clock tower that I was originally going to go with, because I just feel as if it just goes a little bit better on the bridge. It's not too overbearing, and it looks really good with the castle. So now I'm just going to lay out the rest of these statues. These are going to be for the people who have hit 1 year of watch time on my Twitch channel, which is an incredible feat. So they're going to have their name down here. They're going to have their own statue above there as well on this little podium. I'm going to get that all laid out. I'm going to get everybody all named up. I wish we had like a gray sign as well. That would be incredible if we had a gray sign rather than the white ones, but this is probably the best sign I could have gone with. I'm going to start working on this entranceway right here. These 3 stone pillars are going to be trees. We're going to build the stairway going all the way up to the doorway right here. And I've also, on the inside, I've done up all of the guards. So we've got Duck over here as Perry the Platypus, Valdalia as Sally, Destroyer right on over here is the penguin, and everybody's kind of just looking up at the galaxy. Way up over there, we have Emerald Moth, Emerald Moon Moth, kind of hanging on to the star. Can't really see the name from all the way down there, but hey. I got Ominous and Alicea, both looking up at the galaxy. We got the man himself, Kronos, the Titan of Time. I didn't have any Kronos heads, so I decided to go with an old man head. If you know, you know. I'm assuming, you know, Titan of Time, probably pretty old. So until he shaves off that beard and I get his head from the Wandering Trader, that's kind of what he's stuck with. Bunny, handing him a mushroom head. There's a little bit of lore behind that on the Twitch channel. And then we got Kazi working their way up too. If you guys want to get your name inside my world, kind of like what you see here, you can do all of this just by watching my Twitch, gaining channel points, earning gapples, and utilizing it to be a part of the world, kind of like an NPC. And who knows, maybe you'll get your own mega build in my world one day. So I've been pretty busy, and so have you guys. I have added everybody that has a year of watch time onto the Statues of Time right across here. Shadowstone being #1 highest watch time, and everybody else is in order, basically descending on down there and then working their way across there and then continuing on forward. But you guys may see a little bit of a new structure being put up in the background over here, and that is because I have officially started laying out what I want to do for the God of Wisdom. So take this with a grain of salt. At this stage of the game, I am heavily in the trying to figure it out type of stage. But as I said before in one of my shorts, for those of you guys who may have not seen that short, this is going to be a grand library, and we're going to have over 100 librarians in this area. Right now, I'm just figuring out this tower, and I'm trying to section off a bit of a courtyard because I want to have a very nice like topiary courtyard kind of deal in the front of the library. This is pretty small in comparison to that build over there, but don't worry. I'm actually going to be descending or ascending on up quite a bit. This circle back here might be a little bit small. I might make this circle maybe, I don't know, potentially twice as big. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm looking at it and I'm liking what I see so far. I know there's going to be an additional circle right here and one over there, and then I'm probably going to put some towers right here and right on over there, and everything's just going to come up very, hopefully, cohesively. Remember, I don't use Lightmatica or any creative planning, so this is how I do plan my projects pretty much. I lay it all out with a tiled diorite. That way it kind of makes a little bit more sense to me. And the best thing about using the tiled diorite, or you can use andesite or granite if you prefer, whichever one you have the most of. I'm more inclined to be using the andesite for building. Granite, not so much. I just don't have a whole lot of that right now. The diorite is a nice block, but I haven't really been using it a lot lately. It's just nice to be able to count exactly how many blocks are in here. So I've got like 5, 2, 1, 2, 5. It's super easy to count all that. I know this is a 3x3. Just by looking at it, I'm able to count it all. And I suggest that you guys also try to do a template like this when you're trying to build big mega builds in your world. And just like we did with that build over there, this build, I'm going to be building from the inside out as well. So anything that needs to be changed will be changed on the exterior, especially because the interior of this build is going to be more important than the exterior. Although the exterior is equally as important, especially because let's fly away over here. I want to make sure that this build looks good from all perspectives. And if this build behind me is looking really, really small in comparison to the Temple of Time, well, it's a little bit of a weird, like, transition, I guess you could say. So that's why I'm wanting to basically elevate the altitude of which this building is going to be going up to. And I'm just trying to figure out how big that back circle has to be. And I think the only real way of figuring that out is going to be building it from within. But unfortunately, that sounds like a future link problem, and you guys will have to wait until the next episode to see how this all shapes up. Or you can come see the behind the scenes over on my Twitch channel, where I live stream these types of builds daily and teach you guys how to take on mega builds bit by bit to create insane builds. And again, I cannot thank you guys enough for anybody who made it onto the passage of time as a statue. I can't thank you guys enough. As a big thank you from the bottom of my heart, 1 whole year of watch time is a monumental feat that I never thought would ever be a thing on my Twitch channel. And the next episode is going to be the 50,000 day world tour. So hope you all enjoy that. And until then, I hope you guys all have yourself a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.